I was in a bar in Fleet Street when the mistress of the managing director of the Sun and News of the World said this is what had happened to a model friend of hers. And being a tabloid gutter snipe, I rushed back to the office, and it was a very quiet day. And so we led on that, you know, the Berlin Walls and various other wars and various things seemed less interesting than Freddie Starr eating somebody's hamster.
Few tabloid headlines have burned themselves into British pop culture quite like Freddie Starr ate my hamster. First printed in The Sun in 1986, the outrageous story helped turn Freddie Starr into a legend of surreal, chaotic celebrity. But was it ever true, and why did it stick for so long? Now, decades later, a former co-star has come forward to share what really happened that night. The hamster story that wouldn't die. In 1986, The Sun published one of its most famous and bizarre front pages, Freddie Starr ate my hamster. The story claimed that Starr, during a late-night visit to a fan's house, demanded a sandwich. When told there was none, he supposedly grabbed the woman's pet hamster, placed it between two slices of bread, and ate it. As strange as it sounded, the headline captured the public's imagination. Starr always denied the story, later telling reporters, "I have never eaten a live hamster, mouse, or gerbil. In fact, I love animals." Yet the tale stuck like glue, partly because Starr leaned into the absurdity of it. Over the years, he joked about it in interviews and live performances, feeding the myth and making it part of his legend. The true source of the headline remained a mystery until after Starr's death in 2019, when ex-model Lea LaSalle stepped forward. She had been present at the time and revealed the whole thing was a publicity stunt cooked up by notorious PR man Max Clifford. Quote, "It was never meant to be taken seriously," she said in an interview with Sky News. According to LaSalle, the hamster in question wasn't harmed, and Starr played along with the hoax Clifford had engineered to boost press attention. Clifford, who was later jailed for unrelated sexual offenses, had a reputation for manufacturing outrageous stories to elevate or revive celebrity careers. In this case, it worked. Starr's name was back in the spotlight, and the hamster tale became part of British comedy lore, mentioned in nearly every tabloid piece about him for the rest of his life. Freddie Starr's wild career in comedy and chaos.
Now let me guess, you'll be on to plug your video, Freddie.
No! Don't be silly, don't.
So go on, let me see it. What's it all about?
It sounds good.
Sounds good, all right.
Is a video, yeah.
Freddie Starr live in Devilish. Now, is this one of these rude ones?
Yes.
Is there a lot of naughty words in it?
Yeah, like what? Nuts.
Now, what have you got? Are you singing on it and doing impressions, things like that?
Oh, I'm making mince pies.
Freddie Starr wasn't just a man known for one headline. Born in Liverpool in 1943, he rose to fame in the 1970s with a blend of manic energy, bizarre impressions, and unpredictable behavior. He started out in the music world as the frontman for a rock and roll band called the Midnighters, but it was comedy where he made his real mark. His breakthrough came after appearing on the talent show Opportunity Knocks, followed by regular spots on Royal Variety performances and hit programs like An Audience with Freddie Starr. Starr's act often included animal impressions, slapstick chaos, and the kind of shocking gags that made him both loved and feared on live television. He gained a reputation for being completely unpredictable, and that became part of his appeal. At one moment, he could be singing like Elvis. The next, he'd be crawling on all fours, barking like a dog. Johnny Vegas once said of him, quote, "He was one of the first people to show that you could be truly mad and still be a success." But Starr's fame wasn't without problems. He was frequently accused of being difficult to work with. His temper was well known, and stories of backstage tantrums followed him from production to production. At his peak, he was a ratings hit, but by the late 90s and early 2000s, his star had faded. Still, the hamster story kept him in public memory, a symbol of everything outrageous and unfiltered about British tabloid culture. Life behind the scenes. Though Freddie Starr was known for his over-the-top performances and offbeat humor, his private life was far from a punchline. He was married 4 times and had 6 children, and many who knew him described a man tormented by emotional volatility. His relationships were often rocky. Allegations of domestic abuse surfaced in later years, with one of his ex-wives accusing him of violence during their marriage. Starr denied these claims, but the stories added to the complex and often dark image that followed him. He was a man torn between public adoration and private chaos. At the height of his fame, his lifestyle grew more unpredictable. Friends and colleagues spoke of his mood swings, intense paranoia, and tendency to lash out. Some attributed this to undiagnosed mental health issues, while others simply saw it as part of the package of his larger-than-life personality. Lea LaSalle, the same woman who revealed the truth about the Hamster headline, once described Starr as, quote, funny and generous but incredibly self-destructive. He had periods of financial instability and lawsuits, and by the 2000s, much of his former wealth had disappeared. Despite the turmoil, Starr remained a figure of fascination. His television comebacks, interviews, and public stunts were always unpredictable. Quote, I don't care what they say about me, he once remarked, as long as they're talking. Operation Yewtree and public fallout. In 2012, Freddie Starr became one of several public figures questioned under Operation Yewtree, the police investigation into historic sexual abuse following the exposure of Jimmy Savile. Starr was arrested multiple times in connection with various allegations, all of which he strongly denied. Quote, I have never sexually assaulted anyone in my life, he said. These allegations are completely false, and I will clear my name. Over the next few years, the Crown Prosecution Service declined to bring charges against him, citing insufficient evidence. Still, the damage to his reputation was lasting. He sued one of the accusers for libel but lost the case, further compounding his legal and financial troubles. The scandal marked a final, painful chapter in Starr's public life. Bookings dried up, interviews became rare, and he eventually moved to Spain in self-imposed exile. Living in a modest house near Mijas on the Costa del Sol, he reportedly lived on limited savings and dealt with mounting health problems, including heart issues that had plagued him for years. Those close to him said he felt bitter and forgotten. Quote, he believed he'd been destroyed by lies, said one former friend. He felt the world had turned its back on him. Starr's involvement in the investigation, though it didn't result in conviction, cast a long shadow over his legacy. Final years in Spain. Isolation and decline. In his villa on the Costa del Sol, he lived a quiet and reclusive life. Neighbors described him as polite but distant, and those who visited him during these years said he appeared tired and ill. His health had worsened following multiple heart attacks and quadruple bypass, and he rarely left the house except for essential errands. He had once joked, quote, I used to have heart problems, but the doctors fixed me up. Trouble is, they forgot to fix the rest of me. Behind that humor was a man who'd been battling for years with both physical and emotional decline. Starr reportedly spent his time reading, watching old films, and scrolling through social media. He remained bitter about the fallout from Operation Yewtree and often posted cryptic or angry messages online. There were rumors of financial strain, with reports suggesting he was living on disability payments and occasional help from friends. Some claimed he had few visitors. The man who once packed out theaters and ruled primetime television now lived alone with his cat, far removed from the chaos and fame of his earlier days. His death in May 2019 from heart disease came quietly, and though fans mourned, there was a sense he had long since vanished from public life. In an eerie echo of his humor, one of his final Facebook posts was simply, I'm okay, getting tired now, just days before he passed. The role of Max Clifford and media manipulation.
You've been in showbiz 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think over that time you have done anything that could have been misinterpreted in terms of your relationships?
Are you being serious?
Well, I'm putting the question.
No, are you being serious?
Yeah.
Well, I want to end this interview now. I really do.
But I have to put the question
No,
because...
you put it to me once before. I answered your question. No, if you leave my house, thank you.
The enduring power of the Freddie Starr Ate My Hamster story can't be separated from the role of Max Clifford, the now disgraced publicist who manufactured it. In a 2010 interview, he said, quote, it was a complete fabrication, there was no hamster, but it got Freddie on the front page of The Sun, and that's what he wanted. For Clifford, it was just another day at the office, using fiction to keep his clients in the headlines. Now it's time to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Freddie's legacy? Let us know in the comments section below.